What's going on, everybody? This is Black Men Sundays. I'm your host, Corey Sylvester Murray, and we're talking about generational wealth, mental health, finance, and business.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate.
And today we have a big show today. We're going to learn from an online marketer of 13 years full time. This sister trained over 10,000 people on understanding money, e-commerce, and marketing online. She's also a five-time author. A best-selling book, The ABCs of Wealth Building for Children. That book is used in school districts to help finance and making money. And keep in mind, when we were kids, we didn't have any financial literacy. So without further ado, Tanisha Adjo, welcome to Black Men Sunday, sister. How you doing?
Hey guys, hey guys. I'm amazing. Happy Sunday to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. So I just want to jump right into your best-selling book, The ABCs of Wealth Building for Children. First off, let's talk about where you even got the idea to write a book, and then let's talk about some of the techniques used to, because I hear a lot of parents say, I try to teach my kids about wealth and money, but they're not really listening. So let's start right there.
So I've been an author since 2016, 2017. I have two ebooks on Amazon, and one of them is talking about drop shipping. So I was heavy into drop shipping, training a lot of people on drop shipping on Amazon and eBay. And I also have a book on how I made my first six figures from home. So I have two ebooks already. So I've been an author on Amazon for years, but never really had a physical book. And during the pandemic, I wanted to do a book about money for adults, but I hired an editor and she had a 4-year-old and she was like, well, there's plenty of books for adults on money. She's like, there's none for kids. So me and her actually came up with the idea for children. And then me and my daughter, who's 15 now, we actually wrote the book. So now, when I started to write this book, I started to do some research and look on Amazon to see how many women, Black, that actually wrote a book for children. And it's really scarce, and it's a shame. And then I started to look like worldwide. I started to Google, I started to chat GPT stuff. And it's really not a lot of Black women writing books on finance for Black children. So I'm like probably 7% in the whole entire world. So now my goal is to get my book into every school district. So I'm working with my school districts now to get the book. So my book is in about 15 school libraries right now. And I also work with churches. I also work with sororities. And of course, schools are, the biggest thing. And I feel like now is the time because since we have social media, more people are into multiple streams of income, investing. They want to know what to do with their money. So I feel like my book is on time, right? It's on time for this. And I feel like being that I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years, I'm really just getting started.
Yeah, that's great information. And speaking about your book, because I know on our show we've had this is like an episode 117. I would say out of all our guests, 95% are authors like yourself. But for the brothers and sisters listening that say, you know what, I want to write a book, but not just a book. I want to write a book that can be a part of a school curriculum. So what went into, getting your book in the school districts?
Well, the schools is politics, 100%. So the school system, we already know is broken. And unfortunately, the school system is just passing the kids along. Whether they pass the class, whether they fail the class, it doesn't matter. They all go into the next grade. And if the future is the children, then our future is them, right? Because if the kids can't even read, right now in America, if you guys don't notice, in America, the reading levels is at an all-time low in history, right? For the children. So this is sad. So my book is really on time, for this. And being that I was already like a DOE vendor, so in New York, you have to have a principal sponsor you. So a principal has to say, okay, well, this person is good enough to do, workshops or bring her books to the school. And once they nominated me, I didn't really understand it at first. It wasn't until maybe 2022 is when I really started to get more into the schools, is because I took a class. It was a 6-month class and it was a cohort program. I don't know if you guys know about cohorts, but they're like tryout classes or tryout programs to see how it works. And they took about 20 women. I was one of the women, and they literally told us about how to get into the schools and how we need more Black women in the schools. So really, it kind of like started from there. Although I've been a DOE vendor for 6 years already, it kind of like started in 2022. I started doing free classes for the parents. I started doing free classes for principals. I started doing free classes for the teachers, free classes for the kids. And a principal was like, "Hey, would you want to come and do a series of workshops?" And really, it started from there. And then one principal told another principal, told another principal, told another principal. And as of right now, I did over 20 schools with my curriculum, teaching financial literacy.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because typically, on this show, I kind of would have asked you about your background first, but I said I wanted to get right to the book because that's awesome. So what in the book, and I know we're gonna have to read it. So my first question for you is where can we get the book?
So this is the book, right? So the book is actually on Amazon. Okay, it's on Amazon, it's on Walmart, it's everywhere books are sold, Target. But it's also on my website, which is the ABCs of Wealth Building. Or if you're not following me on Instagram, you go on Instagram and just click the link, in my bio, and you can get signed copies from me and my daughter. So me and my daughter, who's 15, so she's already an author. So this book is actually wealth building in real time because I wasn't an author at 15. My daughter's an author at 15. And now what this does, it also gives her confidence. If she wants to write another book, now she's not scared. And now she's not waiting 20 years to write a book. Right? Most people take 20 years to write a book. So I feel happy about this because this is a part of my legacy. And the goal, again, is to get this into every child's hands. And what I love about my book is that it's a conversation starter on wealth building, right? Sometimes we don't know how to talk to our children about money. Sometimes we don't know how to talk to our children about success, right? So we just don't bother. So now you literally can open up the book and the first letter is assets. Let's say what assets are, right? And then B, C, D, right? And again, this book goes from K to 12. But when adults tell me that they read this to their children, they're learning from it as well. So this is for everybody, right? This is not just for children, this is for adults. And here's a sad fact. The average adult in America can't read past second grade level. The average working adult can't read past second grade level. I have a friend. She works in higher education. In order for the adults to get into the school, they have to take or pass an 8th grade reading test. 90% of them fail. So we have a literacy crisis in America. So although the ABC is only 26 letters, my book is 76 pages because I don't just put A, B, C. I do different letters and I have multiple different meanings for the different letters. So I feel like my book is really the start and to inspire other Black women and men to write books on finance for children.
Oh, that's great information. Now let's talk about the collaboration process with you and your daughter as far as, writing the book, setting it up. Like, what was that process like?
Well, me and my daughter, we do a lot together. I had a onesie business. So during the pandemic, everybody was home. So I used to sell women's pajamas and she worked for me. And she used to do the customer service. She used to email. She used to ship out the stuff. So we was already working, together. And when I asked her, and one day I was just sitting at the table, just writing different letters and different meanings. And I was asking her, like, what do you think K should be? What do you think L should be? What did you think M should be? And she just started throwing stuff at me. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, and then she sat next to me and then we went through the whole thing. We went through it about a couple of times because we did it, we reread it, we did the draft, we did it again. So we came up with a conclusion. And then my editor actually helped me. And one of my friends, because she's a teacher, she actually helped me come up with the ABCs of wealth building for children. So this book is worth millions. It will be in millions of children's hands. I'm already saying it. My goal also too is to get a $40 million book deal from some bank. I don't know how it's gonna come, but I know for sure that this book is right on time.
When I was looking at your bio, you said the wealth building mindset. We've had a lot of brothers and sisters come on the show talk about different wealth building techniques because our show is about, generational wealth, financing, business, and mental health as well. So from your point of view, what's your wealth building mindset?
Well, being that I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years, I've learned so much. And the thing about learning, you never stop, right? There's not no stopping point. It's not like, unfortunately, school makes you think, okay, after 12th grade, that's it, or after college, that's it. Learning is a lifelong thing. So I used to be a social worker, hated it, got fired. And that was the best thing that happened to me. But I was broke. I had $2 in my bank account. And I had to figure out a way to now make some money. I'm married. I got my 2 kids. I just had my daughter, my second daughter. So I had to figure out. So my cousin introduced me to network marketing. So you guys know what network marketing is, like the Avons, the Melaleucas, TLCs, stuff like that. So she introduced me, and what that did helped me to understand that life is not about just going to school and getting a job and hope everything works out, right? It's really about creating the life that you want, right? What is it that you truly want? We all have the opportunity to have the life that we want, but if we're not taught that and we don't see that, we gonna think just going to work is it. So I'm glad that my cousin introduced me because now I was able to literally touch Black young millionaires. They was making millions of dollars a month. I'm like, what? Like I never heard this ever. So I wanted to build a business. So I came online, and back then it wasn't as saturated as it is now. I ran into like different people doing different things. And the one thing that stood out to me was you got to grow as a person. Most people don't read a book after 5th grade, right? So that's why the reading levels anyway is low. So you got to keep growing, right? And if you plan on making an impact and you plan on helping people and you plan on helping changing the world, you have to grow and keep growing and keep setting the bar. So I started reading different books, Robin Kiyosaki. I started reading books from Dennis Kimbro. I started reading so many different books and then listening to audibles. So my audible list is like 200 books, like literally right now. So when I first started my journey, my mentor said, you gotta grow. And the only way to grow is to attend events, get into environments, and you gotta read books. And you have to constantly invest in yourself. Every level is a new layer, right? Every level is a new layer. So in order for me to make 10,000 a month, to get to $30,000 a month is now gonna require another layer, right, of myself. So in order to get to that layer, I got to pour into me. If I got to spend another 10,000 on a mentor or another 10,000 hours, reading a book or another 10,000 hours, doing my craft, then that's what I have to do, right? So building that wealth mindset, it's like stuck with me now. I got to read a book every day. I got to listen to Audible every day. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm on vacation. I always have to pour into me. Because for me, I like to talk and I like to talk to people and I like to turn people's light bulbs on. And when I talk to people, they're actually listening because I'm talking about things they want to hear. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about making extra money. So I've been an Amazon seller for 8 years, right? Made a lot of money on Amazon. And now I'm an Amazon influencer. So I teach people how to be Amazon influencer. My thing is, if you're shopping online, why not learn how to just make an extra $1,000 a month? So I'm constantly talking to people about that now. I'm talking to my oldest daughter right now on how to be an Amazon influencer. And here's the thing. The Amazon influencer program came out in 2017. I wish I would have started in 2017 because I could be at $15,000 a month right now. Passive, right? Passive income. So I'm always talking about money. I'm training my little cousins. I'm training my grandparents who 85, 95 years old. I'm training my aunts, uncles who's retiring from their job. And they're like, I don't even have a retirement plan. So this is really my life's work. I told my group the other day when I did an event, I told them that I said, I feel like, right, and this is in my heart of hearts, that God literally sent me here to turn light bulbs on. So I'm blessed and I'm highly favored.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And actually, I was going to talk about on my next question the business startup Amazon influencer. I was going
Mhm.
to say, give us a tip or two. This Black Men Sundays, we're trying to get this education as well while you're here. What tips can you give for brothers and sisters that are saying, you know what, I might want to be an Amazon influencer? Like, what tips, what steps, and what techniques do you feel are most valuable and useful?
So there's so many ways to sell on Amazon or to be a part of Amazon. So the influencer program, how it works, Amazon really wants you to be an influencer in real life. So you can't have a whole bunch of bot followers and fake followers. Amazon really wants your social media to be engaging, people commenting, people sharing your stuff, because Amazon wants you to be able to influence people to buy. That's really what the influencer program is. You have to influence people to actually buy a product, right? So, what I love about Amazon, again, I've been selling on Amazon for like 8 years. My sales been about $4 million just on Amazon platform alone. And I'm proud of that because I did that. Like literally, I'm learning, on my own, constantly investing in myself. But think about this: if you shopping, let's just say you buying something for your car, and you need it to cover your car. That same thing that you bought, whether you bought it on Amazon or not, as long as it's sold on Amazon, you can do a review. Let's say you covering your car with the cover. While you're covering the car, you're doing a review on it. Amazon only needs you to do a 30 to 60-second video. Now remember, people's attention spans is 3 seconds. Adults, okay? So 30 to 60-second video on the product that you're using. What Amazon's going to do, Amazon's going to review it. If they like it, they're going to put your video on that exact listing. Now, here's the thing: Amazon has over 800 million customers and growing. So you can't get through 800 million customers in a lifetime. And then on top of that, Amazon has over 500 million products. You can't get through that in 20 lifetimes, right? So think about this. If you do a video a day for the next 365 days, that means you got 365 videos on Amazon that could potentially pay you $100 per day. And that's only doing the one. Now, this is true passive residual income. This is you doing the video one time. You're not doing videos every single time. If I'm doing a video on a remote, that's one time. If I'm doing a video on a wig, that's one time. If I'm doing a video on some clothes, it's one time. Okay. But the consistency, right, in anything, even being married, going to work, whatever, being consistent is the key thing. Because here's the thing with Amazon too: if you don't be consistent and you're not constantly uploading content, Amazon can shut your account down and be like, well, you're not adding any more value to us, so we no longer need you, right? So I think that everybody shops on Amazon, and although everybody don't want to do reviews, you can have your child do a review. You can have your teenager do a review and literally get paid to do what you already are doing. It's insane to me. I don't convince nobody. I got my book on Amazon. It's $16. If you don't want to pay $16 to learn how to make $1,000 a month, don't worry about it.
Hey, I told y'all she was gonna bring it today. I told you it's Black Men Sundays. Queens, New York is in the building. So my next question for you, then I'm gonna let my brother Kalali ask you a couple questions. So when we talk, we talk about investing. A lot of brothers we've had on the show made millions in crypto. A lot of brothers made millions in the stock market. Brothers have gold bars. So from an investing point of view, like what type of investing do you do? Like, are you a stocks person? Do you do like what type of investing interests you, and what type of investing has been successful for you?
So crypto is something else. Okay. Everybody cannot do crypto. So I got turned on to Bitcoin in 2017. And I got into all these little programs and I didn't really understand it. But I was in a group with a whole bunch of people who was buying it. They was telling me how to get the wallets, how to go buy it on this exchange and all this other stuff. So I was just listening to them, like, okay, let's just go buy this stuff. And it was one coin, I think it was Regal coin, and that was just like a made up coin, but people was buying it. I think I bought so many of them that literally The next day that I woke up, I made over $12,000 with it. Now, here's the thing with that coin. I couldn't take all the money out, right? So I took as much money as I could out, and I went on vacation with me and my daughters. Like, I was like, man, I just made $12,000 overnight. So what that did, it forced me to start studying Bitcoin. Because I'm like, if I could make $12,000, like, what? So I started studying Bitcoin. So I started buying Bitcoin a little bit more. I started buying it in Cash App. I started buying it on this exchange. I started having my cold wallet. I started buying other coins. But unfortunately, all of those exchanges that I was on, they crashed. So I literally lost about 15 grand. So although I made 12 grand, I wasn't able to take all the 12 grand. Then I lost 15 grand over time. I said, you know what? Forget Bitcoin. I don't like Bitcoin anymore, right? But again, I still was in these groups. And these groups was like, Bitcoin is the future. So I still kept buying maybe $10 here, $100 here. So I still have a nice, decent 5-figure portfolio, with crypto. But crypto is not like my focus. What I focus on are stocks, ETFs, things that bring me in passive residual income. So I have real estate stocks. I have like Nike stocks. I definitely have Apple. I definitely have Amazon stock. I have Target. So those stocks I buy every single month. I try to put at least $500 to $1,000 every single month into these stocks, and I have a decent portfolio now. My goal is to get to a $1 million portfolio that's paying me at least 10 to 20% a year, so I can live off of that passive income. So that's kind of like also retirement, but I'm also in the real estate. When I first started my business, it was in real estate. I was doing like wholesaling. I was bringing the buyer and the seller together. And I was making a fee, like a $10,000 fee. But then I bought my first home, and I have 2 other homes. But I'm planning on getting into transitional housing. If you guys don't know what transitional housing is, so transitional housing is for veterans, it's for seniors, it's for kids coming out of foster care, it's for kids in respite care. And what happens is the government will pay you money to take care of these people, right? Now, you don't have to directly deal with them, but you got to house them and feed them. But the government pays for all of this stuff. I know people right now making $100,000-$200,000 a month taking care of people. So that's gonna be like one of my retirement plans. As I get older.
Great information. And this will be my last question before I let my brother Kalali jump on. You've been an entrepreneur for 13 years. So this is for all the entrepreneurs out there. A lot of entrepreneurs say, the first 3 years, they're buying, but they're not selling much. They're spending a lot of money, but they're not making a lot of money. And a lot of them, in certain instances, may have quit their job to focus on being an entrepreneur full time. So my question for you is a two-parter. The second part of the question is, at what point should you feel comfortable to quit your W-2 9 to 5 job? And then on the flip side of that, when you do that, or you just have a business on the side, but you still work, what type of encouragement can you give for the brothers and sisters that are like, okay, I'm doing this entrepreneurial journey, but I'm spending, but I'm not making much?
So there's no blueprint for life. Let's start there, right? There's no blueprint for life, right? So a lot of the things that people see is coming from social media, and social media has too much wrong information, right? So it's this culture of, oh, quit your job and do business. Here's my thing. If you are a teacher and you love being a teacher, you're successful. If you're a nurse and you love being a nurse and taking care of people, you're successful. Don't let social media rush you to now being broke, because that's really what's going to happen. Right? Don't let social media, because they post in a Rolls Royce or they post in their mansion house or whatever, rush you to say, oh, I want that. Guess what? Success is what you say it is, not what I say it is at all. See, I hated my job as a social worker. I hated that job. I hated removing kids. I hated going to see kids in the schools and parents. I hated running around chase. I hated it. So when I got fired from my job, I knew I did not want another job. I knew I did not want to go back to school to get another degree just to get another job. Like, I knew that, right? So I always tell people, get in the right environments first. Hire a mentor first. And guess what? Your mentor could be somebody in a book. You could go buy a $20 book. And that person book that you're reading is your mentor now, right? And then from there, once you start to gain the confidence, because I train women and men, and the problem that I find is that they don't have confidence. Their confidence is literally so low. It's like you're only holding yourself back. So if you can get a $20 book and start learning, or I tell people to watch different podcasts, right? Start training your mind, because it's really all a mindset. Just like an employee, just like you got to get up every day and go to work, that's your mindset. Being an entrepreneur is a mindset too. It's not about the money, right? Because what I've learned is that it's really about making a difference, right? If you can't make a difference in what you're doing, what are you really doing? Because if you're just doing it for the money, at some point you're going to be like, all right, I'm bored now. What am I going to do now, right? So for me, I love talking. I love showing people. I love presenting. I've done talked in front of thousands of people. I done talked in front of one person, right? So you have to find your niche to get rich, right? And it may take you time. And I always tell people, find your purpose. Find what you're passionate about. So what if it's going to take you 10 years to find it? Never stop looking for it. So what if you're 60 years old and you haven't found it yet? Never stop looking for it. And when I train younger adults, I tell them, try everything. Try network marketing. Try real estate. Try science. Try this. Try everything so you can see what's out there. And then you can make a decision and say, okay, well, I want to do this. But if you don't try nothing, you don't know nothing, and now you're stuck in your 9 to 5, or you're just stuck doing the same thing for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, that leads to suicide or a really, really slow death. So I think that people really need to stop following all these people on social media that don't know what they're talking about, that's struggling, getting robbed, right? All that stuff. They really need to find out what their purpose is. And the only way you find your purpose, guys, is if you try different things, put yourself in different environments, go to different conferences, travel the world. I travel all the time. I'm going to different countries all the time. I'm going to different states all the time. You gotta put yourself in different spaces. If it's just you and your family all the time, or if it's just you and your coworkers all the time, you cannot grow. So, in order to start your entrepreneur journey, okay, know what you want, all right? Know what you want and start getting mentors. And a mentor could be someone on Amazon, a $20 book you can start reading about their success. And a great book to start with is called The Wealth Choice by Dennis Kimbro.
Are you giving it to us today? You done gave us like 3 books today. That's what I'm talking about. And let's talk about because a lot of people ask me all the time about, I have a podcast or I have a book, but they don't know how to get connected to get invited or who to contact to do workshops, to do in-person things. And I see you have experience in that. So what tips can you give for someone that wants to do more of an in-person show or, a book reading or, part of their entrepreneurial journey?
Well, start with your network. Who's in your network, right? And even that can be scary, because it's like, if you never did this and now you got brothers, sisters, cousins, neighbors, they never did it either. Now you're just trying to figure it out. But if you got people in your network, you start interviewing them for free. The thing is consistency. That's the key to this. Consistency. I wouldn't have been married 15 years if I wasn't consistent being a wife to my husband. He would have been bye-bye. He would have been out, right? So anything you do is consistent effort, right? And then intentions, right? What is your intention behind starting your business? What is your intention behind doing a podcast or even wanting? Because everybody want to be famous. I'm not even interested in being famous. I'm interested in being wealthy and impactful. That's it. That's what I'm interested in, right? And God is on my side, right? So if you're not tapped in, to the universe either, you're really not going nowhere anyway, right? Everything is going to feel like a push. Everything's going to feel so hard for you to get. In this point in my life, everything comes to me with ease. I'm not struggling for nothing, right? So again, people got to know what they want, and they have to have the right intention behind it.
All right, great information. All right, the mic is open, fellas.
Well, this is Kalali out of Calvin County, Maryland. So I just want to ask you a couple questions. First of all, I want to applaud you for your efforts because I think it's awesome you having the book, especially having a book uh talking about financial literacy geared towards children. I think that's just incredible. You know what I'm saying? So I want to applaud you on that first and foremost. Um, and with that, what was the reception of the book, especially for children? Because a lot of times people say, oh, well, you know, if you gear it towards kids, they're gonna be too young to understand the information, and things like that. So what was your experience with it, and how has the reception been in terms of getting with the schools and getting the reception from the kids and them learning from the book?
So believe it or not, kids are more open than adults
Okay.
about money. Kids are all open because think about it. A lot of kids are in poverty. So all they hear all day is, I'm broke. I don't have it. I gotta wait to payday. Kids are sick of hearing that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I go to the schools and I start telling them different ways to make money, they're like, wait, what? I can make money as a teenager? I can make money as an 11-year-old? I can make money as a 9-year-old? Wait, what? So the kids love me.
Mm-hmm.
All my kids, they love me. And I look like them. I'm talking their language. I'm wearing my Jordans and all that. Like, I'm looking like them, right? So again, the children are more open than the adults. And I love talking to the kids because the kids ask the right questions. The kids say, Coach, why we didn't learn this in junior high? Why we didn't learn this in elementary school? Or why my mother is not teaching me this? So I got to explain all that to them, right? So now getting the book into the school, right? Again, it's all politics, right? Principals are open to whatever if they know you.
That's
As long as
real.
they got the money, they with it.
Yeah, that's real. My wife is a principal. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, it is the same thing. If they know you and they have money in their budget, and it's something that's going, enhance the community, they definitely with that. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely doing a community service with that. One other thing you said that I thought was really cool is you said, find your niche to get rich. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Find your niche to get rich. So keep it in that vein. What do you think are some good strategies for people to find like what their purpose is and what their niche is, and because you already talked about trying everything out just so you have a wide array of things that you can look at. What else do you think people could fall back on to actually find what they can do that will help them get where they want to go in terms of generating wealth?
Well, it's being around positive people. I met a lady, she's married 20 years, and her husband's negative. Like he doesn't beat her physically, but emotionally. And that's worse than physical. And I didn't tell her to leave her husband, but I said, sis, you got to get in a different environment. You're worth more, right, than what your husband, is giving you. And unfortunately, people are scared of change. People don't want to move. People don't want to make the next move. People don't want to make their next move their best move, right? They just want to talk about it. That's what people want to do, right? So the ones that's really winning is the ones who's really working, right? So if you really want to win, you got to put the work in, right? And it doesn't matter how much it costs. And I always tell people that the freedom, there's no price. Freedom is priceless. Like there's no way I'm about to go get a job and work for somebody and do a 9 to 5. Is you kidding me? After 13 years of waking up when I want to, traveling when I want to, doing what I want, don't make no sense, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. So your freedom is priceless. If it costs $100,000 to learn something, it took $100,000 for you to do something new. Do it, because guess what? Black people spend $4 billion a year on liquor. So put that in perspective.
So we can't say we don't have the resources.
Yeah. Don't get me started with the amounts of money we spend on bullshit.
I understand that. Recently, recently, me and my wife were having a conversation about how to how to monetize your intellectual capital. So, like, the conversation was circulating around, okay, for those of us, like, I have a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? For those of us that have 9 to 5s, it's like, okay, we got a 9 to 5, but that 9 to 5, you do something on that job. You know what I'm saying? And that job and what you do generates value for somebody else far above the value that it's generating for you. You get paid a salary, or you get paid a wage or hourly wage, but the value that you're generating is actually generating a lot more value for that company that you're working for in terms of profits and things like that. And so one of the things we were thinking about was like, okay, how do you like monetize your like intellectual capital? So I guess the question I want to ask you is there anything like, so you said, you were a social worker, you hated that job, you know what I'm saying, got fired from that job. Fortunately for you, you know what I'm saying, because that launched you into your entrepreneurship journey. But was there anything that you could take from your career as a social worker that has helped you in your entrepreneurship journey?
So fun fact about me, I always wanted to be a math teacher.
Okay.
I could not pass the test. I took the test, I want to say about a good handful of times, and I could not pass it. And I failed about 1 point. And I'm like, I know I'm not dumb. Like, this can't be this hard. Come to find out that the test was biased and teachers sued for $100,000 for that test. I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is insane. And now you don't even need a certification to be a teacher now. Crazy.
Right.
It's crazy, right? But in my heart, I still wanted to be a teacher. I had the passion to teach. I'm good at teaching, right? So full circle, now I'm a DOE vendor. Now I'm MWB certified and I teach math in school. So God already knew I wasn't good to be no teacher because the way these teachers put left and right, look, God already knew. God said, nah, it's bigger for you, right? You're going to go to the schools with your book and teach the kids what you want to teach them in real life skills, right? Some things just come natural, right? Some things just come to you, right? And some things you got to actually learn. So for me, I was a teacher. Listen, I was already a boss at 3 years old, like bossing kids around in kindergarten. So I already had it, right, in me, right? So now it's just a matter of getting in the right rooms, getting around the right environments, and now really pulling it out because I'm selling my intellectual property to the schools. That's what I'm doing now, right? So again, some things just comes natural and some things you don't. So some things don't. So I would tell people to kind of like start with digital marketing. So digital marketing, you can either be affiliate of Amazon, you can do digital products. I mean, there's so many that you can start with and just start kind of small, right? Start with making $100 a month, $1,000 a month. And nobody got to know this. Who got to know you're making $100 a month in your business, right? Just because everybody posting on social media, they're making 100,000 a day. No, right? Who knows that? Again, you have to run your own race, right? You have to say what success is, not what social media says, because social media is going to leave you dead broke and ain't nobody coming to rescue you, right? So I would say start with like some digital products. They have a lot of courses on Coursera.com, Allison.com, and Harvard. Believe it or not, Harvard has free digital marketing classes, online where you can start taking for free and getting real certificates that you can literally start applying for jobs or whatever you want to do with it. Guys, let me tell you something. We are in the best of times. I never seen nothing like this. We got everything at our fingertips. But here's the sad part. In the 1800s, we had less doing more. Now we got more doing less.
That's what's up. Well, you preaching it today, Tanisha. I gotta tell you, you really preaching it today.
Terrible.
You blessed us with, you blessing us with a whole lot of gems today that we could take from. And I think that, when we put this episode up, a lot of people gonna get blessed by what you're saying. So really just appreciate you taking the time with us and just thanks for your time today.
Mm-hmm. And fun fact, I've been featured in Black Enterprise, Images You Haven't Seen on TV, a bunch of other publications. And now I'm just working to, level up, get into more things and do, more things. I mean, again, when this is your life's work, you're going to work.
Tanisha, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great.
The fact, with the children's books, I'm on Amazon right now. Your book's already in my cart just from the first few minutes of hearing you talk. And what I do love, like how you were saying, you're working with kids and teaching these youngsters, the financial literacy that we didn't get growing up. And like you said, it's everything's at our fingertips right now. We're in the age of information right now, and it's like you were just saying, the Coursera courses also. I'm actually taking a machine learning class right now, Coursera, to get a certificate, and because AI is booming, so why not have a certificate in something and take advantage of that opportunity, But the question I wanted to ask you, what age do you consider a good age to start with children as far as the financial literacy? I mean, I have two daughters and a 5-year-old son, and for both of my daughters around the age of 16 or 17, I kind of started talking to them about investing and talking to them about money as well. And I felt like I might have waited even too late at that point. They took in a lot of what I told them, and they utilized a few of the tools that I gave them. But they're just teenagers. They're just so distracted right now
Right.
with everything else. So, but what do you consider, in your opinion, a good age to start with children as far as financial literacy goes?
So I have rich friends, and they start their
That helps.
kids soon as they could talk.
Mm.
Soon as they babies are saying mama, dad, they saying money, wealth, legacy too. It's only us. It's only
You're right.
us that wait till 21, 31 to find out stuff. So soon as they could talk, I have a friend, she's pregnant. She's reading my book to her baby in her stomach. I told one of our principals, financial literacy should be taught from kindergarten all the way through college, even if it's once a month, just learning financial literacy. There's different levels, right? So everybody can know the value of money and managing money. I do something and you guys can adopt this too. It's called Wealth Talk. So I do Wealth Talk events, I do Wealth Talk online, and I do Wealth Talk with my kids. Every month, we sit down, I bring them to my office, or we just come in the living room, kitchen, or whatever, and I literally start talking to them about money, how money works, investing, how investing works, relationships, sex, everything. Like it's a wealth talk. So now intellectually, my children, right, will be ahead of me when they turn my age. And my daughter, and I'm grateful for her, who's 15, that's the co-author, she said to me one day, she said, Ma, although I don't tell you, she said, all these events you be bringing me to about money, she was like, although I don't tell you, she said, I'm grateful. She said, because when I be talking to my friends about this stuff, they be like, what? What you talking about? So my daughter's going to be literally a millionaire. So I'm already planting the seeds, for her. She already know what she want to do. She already picking out colleges, that, she wants to go to. So again, generational wealth is us and then passing it down to the next generation. As soon as your kid is saying mama, dad, they need to be reading books on money too. So it's only us that's behind in everything.
100%. No, you're at 100% right. And we got to change that dynamic ourselves. Like you said, it all starts at home. And even my 5-year-old, I'm big into investing, right? That's my thing. And my son, even though he's 5, he can see me looking at, candlesticks on a chart on my laptop, and he knows. He'll look at it. He goes, green means good, red means bad. He's 5. So I'm like, yeah, that's you got the gist of it, for the most part. But
Right.
and I'm excited to, teach him this skill set, because I feel, like you were saying, the financial literacy is financial independence, for the generations coming up. So
Yep.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I appreciate that answer. And like you said, I wanted to know, like, what age, what's a good age, you know, um, just to get it started, where something will stick. But again,
Yeah, but here's
I
the
keep
thing too. So don't just have them watching it. Explain. See, here's the thing. We think our kids don't understand. Our kids understand everything. Kids understand everything. Remember, kids have discernment, and that's spiritual. God gives children that. See, adults don't have it. They lose it along the way. But kids, they're born with it, right? So while you're doing it, explain. You may think he don't understand, but trust, the subconscious is working. Literally, your son could be a millionaire by the time he's 18.
spot on. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Tanisha. For real, it's motivating to see, us out here doing, the things that we love to do. And one of the things, like on the same subject that I'm passionate about also is working with kids, or working in schools as well, because that was the missing piece for us. They taught us everything that we probably wouldn't use, growing up in school. They didn't teach us how to balance a checkbook. They didn't teach us about credit. They didn't teach us about, anything to get ahead other than being a part of the system, and I'm 20 years retired, military, and I've been retired for 2 years, and I don't plan on working for anybody else if it's up to me, but it's not everybody can do that, at the same time I understand that, but I,
Right.
I've been investing for many years, and I kind of, like you were saying, planted some seeds early, paid for that education. It's as costly as it was, and at the end of the day, that's something that nobody can take away from you, and it paid off for me in the end. You have to go through, all those failures, all those losses I went through, all those accounts that I blew up, on my journey to get to becoming a profitable trader. You got to go through all of that. You got to go through. You
Right.
got to take all those L's in order.
Right.
Since I tell everybody, success is on the other side of your failures, and if you don't even try, then that's what are you
Well, you're
doing?
definitely going to take more L's than W's. I'm gonna tell you that.
And from
It's just what it is. You're going to take a lot of losses. So, it's like be prepared for that, but people don't want to lose. They just want to come out the gate winning. It
that's not
took
the way it
me
works.
literally 5 years being married. I never saw a successful marriage in my family. My family members, they get married like it's damn candy. Every year they're getting married. They're on the fifth marriage. They're on the seventh. What? Nobody's successful. It took me 5 years to find myself as a woman, right? To be married to a man. My husband could have gave up on me during that time. Like, I don't got time for this. But he also never seen a successful marriage. So he had to take time to find himself as a man in a marriage. Now we've been married. We just celebrated 15 years.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So I feel like I'm the example. And, that's why my God is charging me, right? Because I'm showing a successful marriage. I'm showing a successful business. I'm showing a young Black woman doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, this comes with a lot of hate from family members and friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so what? I just gonna keep getting big mad. That's it. God, God got me, right? I'm covered by God, right? So I feel like, people are just scared, to even just step out on themselves, right? And that's why they just stay stuck and complaining and just following everything and following everybody and just hoping and praying, for the best. But once you know who you are and once you really figure out like how life is really supposed to go for you, sky becomes the limit. There's no ceiling.
And on that same subject, where you saying once you know yourself, again, sometimes you gotta go through all those battles, and it's something a lot of people struggle with. I struggled when I got out, and for about a year I was teaching at like a major institution, teaching students how to trade, and I almost kind of got imposter syndrome. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
For a while, because I'm like, am I, am I that good enough to be telling these
Right.
people? You know what I'm saying? Even though
Right.
I knew I know my value and I knew my skill set, but still, even in that moment, I'm like, why are they listening to me? Like, why?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but you have to overcome. It's all the psychology of self-sabotage, trying not to self-sabotage yourself. And like you said, a lot of people are just scared and they're not willing to take that risk. But what don't you have to take a risk at in life? You know what I'm saying, to get ahead. So, but
You
yeah,
know what? The biggest risk is ignorance.
or not even trying.
Ignorance is a $1 trillion business. You don't know something, somebody's going to take advantage of you. You don't know how to buy a house, the realtor is going to take advantage of you.
Facts.
You don't know about credit, the creditors are going to take advantage of you. So ignorance is the biggest risk. You got to learn. And again, like I said, learning is a lifelong process. Even my 15-year-old, I make her read a book a month. And we're not just reading it, we're actually coming together and understanding it. What did you actually read? What did you get out of it? Right? So I'm training my daughter. I don't want her to be second grade reading level and she 40. No, it's insane. Right? So it's really up to us. It's really up to us. America is a shit show right now. You see what's happening, right? It's up to us. And if we give a damn about our kids, we'll stop spending $5,000 on a birthday when they failing.
Mm-hmm.
We would stop spending $5,000 on crap that they don't need when they can't even spell. Our priorities are all messed up. We are $4 trillion people. We don't got nothing to show for it. It's a shame.
100%. No, you're right on every aspect. Yeah, I appreciate you definitely hanging out
Thank you
with
for
us and
having me.
answering our questions.
Definitely. Well, Tanisha, I got the hard question for you now. Are you enjoying yourself on Black Men Sundays?
Yes, I am. To be with Black, beautiful men, I'm excited. Although I'm married, like I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because when I was looking at your profile, I was like, she would be great on Black Men Sunday. So, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate your time on this Sunday afternoon. We
Mhm.
everybody get that book, The ABCs of Wealth Building
Yeah,
for
this is it.
Children on Amazon. Get that book now. Don't sleep on it because a lot of parents, I get emails all the time from different parents that like what my brother Bray was saying. At what age should we start? I'm trying to teach my kids, but they're not really listening. They're so busy looking at social media that they're not listening to the tips I'm giving them. So a lot of them feel like, it's going in one ear, coming out the other, and they're not getting that education. So they feel like they're wasting their time. And then on top of that, we've had principals come on the show where they say the same thing. It's not being taught in schools. So I applaud you. I appreciate you. I value you. We're gonna keep in contact because I'm gonna have a symposium coming up with some
Okay.
other experts like yourself. And
Okay.
just to kind of, touch base because the whole thing about Black Men Sundays, a lot of brothers, we're not able to be in certain rooms at times, or you don't, like you said, confidence. A lot of brothers and sisters feel like, well, I'm not the smartest person in the room. I don't even think I belong. Nah, we killing that on Black Men Sundays. We want to be in the rooms where everybody is smarter than us. That's how we
Right.
moving over here. So you added
Right.
so much value to the show. You added so much value to our lives. You don't even know us like that. And you done added value to our lives in this 1 hour conversation. So thank you for coming on the show. Before I let you go, I'd like to ask all our guests if there's something I didn't ask you that you want to mention before you go, let me know.
Well, I do events. A lot of events in New York. And I have a couple of events coming up, and all of my events is geared to wealth building, life insurance, investing, credit, and all of my friends in business is on the same vibe as me. Like my friends I had for 20 years, we don't even talk no more. They mad or whatever, they at their job, it don't even matter. But now my friends in my circle, all we talk about is money, traveling, how can we level up, how can we do a business together, things of that nature. So I do a something called a Black Excellence Festival every year in New York. So I'm planning for it to happen in September, and we're just going to put a little twist on it, and it's going to be a job fair slash back to school. So what I do is I bring about 100, 150 vendors together to like showcase, their products, and I just invite the community to come out. I invite the borough presidents, I invite the senators, all of them, come out just to have a good time. And guess what? Nobody in Queens is really doing this. It's so crazy. Like, we ain't doing shit. We ain't doing nothing. It's like, wow. And guess what? Now I've been doing this for 4 years. People are like, Coach, when you're doing the next event, when is your next event? I want to come to your next event. And then I also bring out talent. So if people know how to sing, and know how to rap, and know how to dance, and know how to do drums, I also invite them to come. So it's a whole thing. It's like a big festival, that I have every year. And I love it because now, again, it's bringing the Black dollar in the Black community so it can circulate longer than an hour.
That's what I'm talking about. And for the brothers and sisters that want to contact you, like what are your social media handles?
So it's Coach Tanisha Marie on all platforms. I'm on TikTok, Threads, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Um, that's all my platforms. And then my website is TanishaMarie.com that everybody can go to. And I also have a free webinar on the Amazon. So you guys can get the book, but I also have a free webinar. You guys can go to my Instagram and click the link there as well to watch it on the whole process of how to start your Amazon influencer program. But just remember, you still really got to be an influencer in real life, right? So if you're in the New York area or you're near, New York, and you want to come to the Black Excellence Festival, then follow my page, my other page, which is Dope Pop-Up Events. It's an event page. that you guys can follow. I do small event. I just did a small event on Friday. We'll be talking about wealth. We were talking about real estate. We were talking about opening up your own event space. And then I do bigger events like the Black Excellence Festival, and I'm well connected. So that's another thing. Like, I'm definitely a person that, people want to be connected to, because I'm very resourceful. And I'll give away a lot of info. I'll give away $1 million info for free. People just got to be listening.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I feel like you gave us a couple $1 million of information today. So I appreciate you coming on Black Men Sundays. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest
Thank you
of
for
your
having
day.
me.
Definitely. Peace.
Thank you, guys.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put on childish things.